Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As today we have a lot to go over and discuss. But first, I'd like to remind all of you that in my previous video I revealed the location and time of the first ever XRP showcase. It is an event I'll be hosting in Mykonos, Greece that I've been working on for a long time, and I'll be bringing plenty of prominent crypto investors and XRP Army members to showcase XRP and the digital asset space in the most positive light. Stay tuned for that and more details, as I think it's going to be something every single one of you are going to enjoy. Now, with that being said, we have to take a look at what's going on with the XRP chart and blockchain backers breaking it down, stating the way the charts are looking right now could indicate the perfect moment for a Judge Torres ruling. A lot of the time, chart analysts can predict what the news is going to be based on what the charts are saying. And most recently, the charts are screaming that something is coming soon. All I'm saying is with Brad Garlinghouse coming out last week saying we're weeks away from a decision, I think we as XRP Army members need to be on the edge of our seats for a ruling very, very soon. I'm very excited to finally be seeing some price action. But while we are still in the midst of a bear market, and we are still pre-decision on this case, I do have to say this. It's a growing concern in this space that self-custody wallets are being compromised left and right. First and foremost, Ledger came out with that update that I absolutely hated, and I strongly advise against. Eventually, I think we're going to end up in a world where in order to be able to use an offline wallet, you'll have to KYC, and you'll have to, in some way, shape, or form, centralize your wallet. That is a big fear that I have. But until that happens, we have to do our best to protect our wealth as long as possible. I bring that up because recently, Atomic Wallet has been compromised. And also, at the exact same time, we have XRP Army lawyer John Deaton stating, in the last 3 months I've had 4 different hackers my home Wi-Fi and my email, causing my cell phone to get spammed today, with me receiving 2,000 spam text messages non-stop. I'm with my cell phone provider and the manager asks, have you pissed off any tech-savvy people recently? Ladies and gentlemen, this has not only happened to John Deaton, this has happened to a couple of people in the XRP community. John Deaton is taking on some powerful individuals. He's going after the SEC for their corruption against Ripple. Some of us in the XRP community as well have seen numerous threats and numerous compromises to our security that many of you don't even know. And it's all because we believe XRP is the most powerful digital asset on the planet. And all these events continue to signal to me that we are uncovering the future of the financial system every step of the way. And there are some big boys in the government that don't like that. Remember this every single day. The people in power are threatened by you, the XRP Army, because you are the normal people that have purchased your winning lottery tickets in slow motion. And they don't like that. They don't want us to come into the 1%. Because if all of us get rich, we will become the new 1%. And I'm looking to make a dent in the universe. I'm sure plenty of you guys are as well. And I think we're going to do just that once it's our time to shine. Now, yet another indication that we are going to have our moment in the sun. Jack, the CIO of SWIFT, states that central bank digital currencies are only a matter of when, not if. They are coming, and they're coming soon. and with Ripple building their central bank digital currency platform, I think it's only a matter of time before we see what XRP was truly built for.
I'm joined by two experts on the topic with me right now, which is Miguel Diaz, who is the head of the Toronto Innovation Hub Center at the Bank of International Settlements, and Tom Jack, who is the Chief Innovation Officer at SWIFT. So to kick things off, I wanted to start with some brief introductions. And Tom, we'll start with you. Can you briefly walk us through what your experience has been with digital currencies to date?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really happy to be here with Miguel. And we were speaking before the session about how nice it is to demonstrate kind of the public-private approach that's really required to explore and experiment with central bank digital currencies. So we'll kind of just start on the top in terms of what we're doing here and how we're approaching this. And it really starts with our strategy at SWIFT to deliver instant and frictionless transactions globally. It's ambitious. We're making great progress on that, and we need to accommodate new things that are happening in the marketplace, and in this case, digital assets, and more specifically, new forms of currency and digital forms of currency. And so we are trying to figure out how we can help our customers, our community, and it truly is a community. And we're looking at ways where, what can we do and leverage the strengths that we have, if and when central bank digital currencies are launched. And I think it's probably more when than if, but that's not our decision. And we're not advocating the creation of any digital asset, including a national currency. But the question is, if we and we do what we do in terms of bringing the community together and providing the network reach in a trusted way every day, how do we position ourselves? So we spoke to a number of central banks, well, actually a lot of central banks, and one of the surveys from the Atlantic Council says there's 110 central banks and countries looking at, exploring or somehow trying to figure out what to do with the digital version of their currency.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, along those lines, as we continue to hear the narrative of CBDCs being built, as we continue to see SWIFT heading into the digital payments world and innovating their antiquated payment system, we always have to remember the BRICS nations, and specifically Russia and China, speeding up their payment infrastructure for currency settlements. Cross-border settlements is the use case that we need to pay extremely close attention to. We've seen documents found by King Solomon specifically showing Russia's central bank in works with Ripple. That is no coincidence. We understand that China has some companies partnered with Ripple. That is no coincidence. There has been a specific narrative that's been propagated specifically over the last 3 months that reached its peak last month, and that is the de-dollarization of the world. Remember Brazil, remember France going towards the yuan, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Russia, India, all of these nations having a narrative built surrounding the de-dollarization of the world at the exact same time is no coincidence. And I'm going to remind you of something that I've said is one of the most important indicators we always need to pay attention to, and that's the DXY. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember specifically a couple months ago, and around April to early May, I made a powerful point specifically stating that for the DXY, previous resistance from March 2020 during the COVID crash is turning into new support for the DXY. And like clockwork, we have a double bottom W pattern forming. The DXY, in my opinion, is the single most important indicator for letting us know where crypto's gonna go. Typically, crypto is inversely proportional to the DXY. And the reason is, as the dollar gets stronger, like it did all throughout 2022, crypto gets weaker because new money isn't flooding into the crypto space. We still have interest rates relatively high. The Fed hasn't pivoted yet. We still haven't had a major crash in the stock market, which I think will come alongside a Fed pivot later this year. All of these things are important to note, as I believe we saw the mass FUD campaign of the dollar this May to sucker people out of the US dollar into other assets and then have them positioned right in time for a massive crash that I have been saying will be coming this September, October this year. We haven't had that moment yet, and I still think that's to come. The only question is, can we see a bit of a run up in the XRP price and maybe even some altcoins right before that, before it's lights out? I still think there's a small chance of it, but we still have to see if that comes to fruition. Now guys, with that being said, I'm gonna make something very, very clear. We on this channel and within the XRP community have been working extremely hard to get it right. Because let's be very honest, 99% of people analyzing XRP have gotten it wrong. We're right on the fundamentals. We have the best research, but we've gotten the fucking price wrong. Everybody. We have to get it right this time around. So I'm working around the clock every single day with a variety of analysts, researchers, to make sure that we don't get caught with our pants down again. The SEC lawsuit was a trap. The Terra Luna FTX crashes were a trap. There's no more room for error. We will get it correct. Now, regardless of within this little window of this month of June, before September, October, regardless of whether or not there's a little price bump in XRP, is besides the point. We know that there will most likely be a big crash this September, October. And I'm fairly confident as of right now that 2024 will be a special year for XRP adoption and price appreciation, especially considering that the case will definitely be resolved by then. But this is what I have to stress. A lot of people and a lot of the news is there to manipulate you out of profit taking. It's there to manipulate you out of getting things correct. There's no more room to be a retail investor in this community. There's only room in our future to make money and become the new 1%. Now, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, to cap off this video for today, I'm going to play you a clip from Danielle DiMartino Booth from Stansberry Research, having an interview about the overstating of the de-dollarization in the world stage. I personally believe that the de-dollarization of the world and the US dollar as the world reserve currency will come to an end. But I don't think it's going to happen as quickly and as drastically as some people purport. I think it's going to be a gradual decline. And we're definitely going to see that as soon as the Fed pivots, as soon as the money printer goes burr again, heading into the US elections and into the future and beyond. I hope this video and everything we've been doing for the past couple years helps ground every single one of you. We are the best community on the planet and will continue to do so. But this time around, we will make our life-changing money. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
De-dollarization is a bluff. Okay, so it's coming to the fore because the Western financial media are very compliant. You know, the joy of our system is we entertain all brick brats. You can criticize us. We're good. We're robust. We can take it on. And our media love to kind of glorify. Because we're winning, the media wants to take us down. Fine, okay. But the intensity of the de-dollarization debate, and it's a debate sponsored by autocratic regimes overseas, and they're running out of dollars. So first and foremost, I have absolutely no issue. You want to use red cabbage. Forgive me, I call it red cabbage, but renminbi, okay? In terms of settlement. So I'm a Brazilian iron ore producer, and I'm going to send you over some iron ore. Yeah. And feel free, Lula, the Lulu president of Brazil, he said, yeah, we're going to accept red cabbage. I got no issue with that. No one has an issue with that. Go forth and multiply it, okay? However, when the producer, when the commercial enterprise receives red cabbage, what are they going to do with it? Because remember, there's a closed capital account in China. You can't go and put it in a Chinese bank account. You can't go and buy Chinese treasury bills. You don't really want to go and buy Chinese property. They won't let you anyway. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to transfer it into dollars and you're going to hold it in T-bills. So, and the other thing is, yeah, Saudi Arabia and China are going to trade with red cabbage. Again, great guys. Have fun, okay? But let me tell you, the daily turnover in the crude oil financial futures is like 1,000 times the cash transactions. It's irrelevant.
Okay, let me throw this out. Maybe it's not an existing currency. Could it be a replacement currency? Perhaps a BRICS reserve currency backed by whatever?
What are you doing to me?
Balked at the BRICS, but they are rising in power.
Are they?
Absolutely. Look at their GDP. And why can't you fathom a reality where they would have a reserve currency that would overtake the US dollar? I'm asking this
okay. So let me answer this try and answer this without my verbiage. Okay, let's look at.
I feel like I'm in marriage counseling. This is okay. God, I feel like I'm talking to Max Kaiser.
God forbid. But yeah, I got problems. But anyway, we'll discuss later. So Russia and India, the in the BRICS, okay? Okay. Are you aware of what's been happening with the in the BRICS?
I know what's happening with the
Well, the Russians, right?
Right.
They have accumulated. So they're like, we ain't trading US dollars. And the Indians like, cool. And we're going to buy your filthy oil.
Right.
Okay. And we're going to pay you with our, if we had red cabbage, then the Indians would be curry dollars. I don't know, here you go. And we've reached a point now where I think the Russian central bank has about, not even a lot, maybe 50 billion. And they're like, we do not want any more Indian rupee. We want dollars. That is, go on your computer and look up that story. That is current. That the Russians are no longer accepting Indian rupees. Okay? So that's within the BRICS. They're already rejecting it. And again, let's review. China is the largest. It's 15% of global GDP, 17% of global GDP. India's 2%. Russia was 2, but it's sliding lower, right? Brazil, less than 1%. What am I missing? BRICS, they're not that big. It's BRICS or China.
South Africa.
South Africa's irrelevant. Sadly, again, political leadership. BRICS or China.
Basically. Okay, I agree with that.
Now, again, you can only have a reserve currency. A reserve currency is not for settlement. They are free to settle without US dollars. But again, within Russia and India, the Russians are pulling back and they're saying, we will not accept any more rupees, okay? But they're free to do that. But for a reserve currency, you have to have an open capital account because you've got to take the cash from the settlement and own things, like put it on deposit somewhere, and you can't do that. So BRICS can have an attempt at a reserve currency if China is willing to open its current account. And that's the thing they'll never do. The Communist Party will never do it because it would be relinquishing power, potentially relinquishing power.
Yeah, but for a greater good.
They're not in it. The only good is the perpetuity of the control of the Chinese Communist Party.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at Swift? Former Swift board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's High-Level Advisory Board on FinTech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.